Hey there, let's get straight into it with a bunch of cooking tips. Number one, always use a sharp knife. Well, most of us have a knife that looks something like this in our kitchen. This one's made out of stainless steel, pretty typical. There's nothing wrong with it, perfectly adequate for just about everything you're going to do. Only drawback with stainless steel is that it does lose its edge fairly quickly, so you do need to maintain these regularly, which a lot of people don't. Before I show you how to do that, I'll mention the worst thing you can do for a knife, believe it or not, is a glass chopping board like this. These are really popular. You probably have one. There are two problems I have with this sort of board. Cutting chicken, I use it because it's hygienic, but it's very slippery. You see that? It's easy to slip around. That's dangerous. If you absolutely have to use glass, then do something like put a tea towel underneath it just so that it can't move. Last thing you want is to do something silly and hurt yourself. And of course, glass like that just does not stand up to a wrench like this. Quite aside from safety, the main thing I have against using one of these in terms of keeping your knife sharp is that your knife just won't stay sharp on a hard surface such as glass, or I don't know why you'd want to cut on this counter either, but if you were, any surface like that, it's going to dull your knife really quickly. You need to use either wood or plastic or maybe acrylic of some sort, but if you are going to use glass, just realise that your knife will go dull quite quickly. To keep the edge on your knife, it's really pretty easy. Your first weapon of choice is going to be your steel. This is the thing that you have to have. And this doesn't sharpen the knife, but it does keep the edge on it. And there's all different ways of using it. I'm not going to show you any method in particular. There's heaps of YouTube videos on that. But that is your first line of defense. Every couple of times you use your knife and you've washed it, just give it a bit of that, and you'll know it's sharp enough, because when you run your finger along that edge, if it's sharp enough, you'll know, you'll be smiling. And if you want to go beyond that, you can of course get a proper sharpening stone, which has got a coarse side and a not so coarse side. That's probably more than what most people are going to need at home. That's optional. And if you really don't want to do that, and the steel just isn't working and you need it sharpened, you can give it to me or take it to a professional, and they'll sharpen it for you for, I don't know, they all charge different. Subscribe to Pukeko Stew and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let's look at the difference between using a sharp and a blunt knife. So here's a very sharp knife, and I'm going to use that to cut this here tomato. Now watch closely. See that? See how easily that slices? Deep penetrating strokes every time. Perfect. Now let me show you the difference between that and a blunt knife, such as this one. Completely different story, because it doesn't bite and it slips. Ah! Oh no! There's blood everywhere! Ah! Always use a sharp knife. You've made a caprese salad. Excellent. Now dress it. So one of the most important things is the dressing. Now we're going to be using balsamic vinegar for this. Now instead of using it straight, what you really want to do is reduce it first. And the reason you want to do that is that it's thicker, it's easier to pour. I mean, it looks more like a proper drizzled dressing rather than just slopping everywhere. And also once it's reduced, it sort of has a bit of a smoother flavour, less acidic, less biting. So you'd simmer it in a saucepan and it would look a bit like this. This isn't balsamic vinegar. Actually, I have no idea what this shit is, so I thought I'd just chuck it on the stove, heat it up and see what it smells like, but you get the idea. Dishes. When it comes to dishes, I recommend using soap and hot water. When I say soap, I mean dish detergent. Yeah, there's nothing funny about dishes. Subscribe to Pukeko Stew and you'll never have to do dishes again.